Zach Gallen might be hitting the IL. Who's going to fill the void? We'll talk about that and more in today's action packed episode of Locked On Fantasy Baseball.
You are Locked On Fantasy Baseball, your daily fantasy baseball podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hello, fantasy baseball fanatics, and welcome to the Locked On Fantasy Baseball podcast brought to you by the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. As always, we're your number one source for fantasy baseball knowledge, and thank you for making us your first listen each and every day. I'm your host, Matthew on A. You can find me on Twitter, X, or whatever you want to call it, at Matthew_on A. If you're watching on YouTube, please click the bell below to subscribe to the channel and give you a notification every time we drop a new episode. Also, please leave us a 5-star rating and review on Apple or Spotify. And if you want more than what we offer in this 30-minute podcast, please check out the Diamond Club on Subtext. We offer so much more stuff like waiver wire rankings and prospect call-ups and so much more that we just can't get to you in the moment since this is just a 30-minute podcast. And guys, on June 14th, our drawing ends for the giveaway of this beautiful hat. If you're not watching on YouTube, check us out just to see what my beautiful hat looks like. You know, winner on June 14th gets the hat. How do you get in? Easy. You go to my Twitter, the Locked On Fantasy Baseball Podcast Twitter, our Instagram, our TikTok, and you share whatever we post, our reels, um, our posts. I post like 6 or 7 things per page a day. There's so many opportunities to get an entry. Every time you share one of those things, you get an entry. So the more entries you got, the more likelihood you'll have to get a hat. So check it out and please do it. And guys, today's episode is brought to you by FanDuel. Make every moment more. Right now, new customers get $150 in bonus bets with any winning $5 bet. That's $150 with any winning $5 bet. Visit fanduel.com/locked on to get started today. And all right, guys. So I kind of mentioned at the top, I'll kind of like brief go over it. There's not much information right now at 9:07 at Thursday, May 30th, when I'm recording. All I know is Zach Gallen threw about 13 pitches, walked himself off the mound, did not look happy. And what I've read so far is it's his hammy, his right hamstring. You know, he's always suffered with, soft tissue issues. Last year, he was able to overcome them, not have a single issue. This year, we're seeing it. This is what's been hampering him most of his career. I don't like it, but hopefully we pray and, maybe they are able to get it and he's able to not miss anything in the rotation and not have to miss a start. So we'll see. I'm praying there's no IL. There'll be more coming. If you join us on the Diamond Club, I'll be able to give you a little bit more reaction once that news breaks. So let's move on. Let's start talking some names, how to replace them, what to do, and, you know, essentially who to add at this point, right? So let's talk about Gavin Stone. We've talked about him a whole bunch of times throughout the year so far. One of my favorite ads this season, how he's still so little owned at, a marvelous 53%, I think needs to come up. Gavin Stone, honestly, has been a force this year. Maybe not in full sprint like throughout the whole year, but quite honestly, the numbers on the year look pretty good. He has 57 innings pitched. He has 41 strikeouts. He has a 3.16 ERA. He even has a whip of 119, right under where I feel it's like a little too high for me. A FIP of 3.50. Everything for him looks great in those regards. You go a little bit more on the advanced side. All his pitches look great. He's getting great movement on his fastball and breaking balls and off speed pitches. Even, you look a little more at like his xERA, that's a little bit higher, closer to like 398. So almost at 4M, but still serviceable. You know, Velocity on his fastball is pretty decent, 94.7 miles per hour. He's not giving up, a good average exit velocity, only giving about 86 miles per hour, which is fantastic. He's getting guys to chase. The whiff, I would like to see it come up a little bit and getting the strikeouts, but he's not walking guys incredibly, not allowing guys to barrel, and he's not giving up the hard hits. Things I'd like to see improve are his ground ball rates, but we're not talking for long term. We're talking this weekend, right? So how do we judge this, right? So what's his matchup? We look at it, and he's got Colorado. Colorado, yeah, they just beat the Phillies, but I think Phillies were just due. So I think the Dodgers are going to go out, pretty much roll them, and Gavin Stone should not have a problem. Nolan Jones isn't back. Chris Bryant isn't looking good. There's not really too many bright spots on that team. So I think Gavin Stone lines up to have an excellent start this weekend. And he's pitching on June 2nd, which would be Sunday, I believe. Yes, Sunday. So go out there, Adam, 53% owned. You know, I think that it's a kind of a no brainer start this weekend. Add Gavin Stone. All right, let's move up to our next guy here. That's Reese Olson. Reese Olson, you know, he wasn't even sure if we were going to have see him play this season in the bigs because there was a three-way competition between him, Mize, and Manning. Obviously, he pulled through and he's been successful so far this year. The year numbers look great for Reese Olson. I got to say, I'm actually impressed. I didn't think he really had this kind of season in him, but hey, so far so good, right? So 56 innings pitched, 47 strikeouts, a 1.92 ERA, a 104 whip, a FIP of 286. I love this. So it's only about another run, a little less than a run, more on the FIP end. I love it. Reese Olson is doing things right so far. He's getting great movement on all his pitches from fastball, breaking ball, and off speed. His xERA is matching up pretty nicely, and just two more runs higher at 326, but I'm still not mad at the difference. I'll take a 326 ERA if that's how he kind of finishes the season. You know, Fastball sits at 94 miles per hour, not super hard, not super light either. So I'm not mad at it. He is giving up hard contact, which is dangerous, but luckily, he does pitch half his games at Detroit. He's getting guys to chase. He's getting the whiffs. He's not allowing guys to barrel up, but he is giving up quite a bit of hits, about 44% of the time, but he's also getting ground balls at 54% of the time. So those are things he's doing right versus some things he's not doing wrong. Things can course correct in either direction, unfortunately. But I think for Reese Olson to go out this weekend, which let's see who he's playing. I had it before, Boston on June 1st, which is Saturday. The matchup isn't bad. Boston, yes, has been a little bit better. Devers has been a lot better as of late. But I think Reese Olson can go out there. Reese Olson can go out there and just do his thing. So go out there, add Reese Olson, feel confident about it. And I think he'll be successful for you this weekend and help you bring home that W, push you over the edge. Trust me, why can't I talk tonight? Reese Olson won't let you down this weekend. All right, let's sneak one more in before the ad break here. Let's talk Blake Watson. All right. Blake Watson is somebody I actually had to look up before getting it, but I was intrigued by his numbers here. So let's look at it real quick. Right now, this season, his only season in the bigs right now, he has 8 innings pitched, 9 strikeouts. He has why is all my stuff messed up here? I apologize, guys. A 2.16 ERA and a 1.44 whip. Now, those are all good and dandy. Seems like he hasn't really pitched too much to really say, hey, here's what's going on with him, but I don't mind the matchup, honestly. So I'm taking a risk on him. I'm not saying, okay, I'm gonna, be all over this kid every which way. He's more of like a deep league. He's 1% owned. He went out against the Dodgers at right under a 5 ERA to 4.91 ERA. Got the 5 Ks though in 3 innings. He's only going about 4 innings deep between the two. Going out against the Mets, I feel a little bit better. I don't think he's going to come out with the win. Granted, he's going up against Sean Manaea, and whatnot. But at the same time, hey, who's to say he can't go out and pitch a nice game? The Mets haven't been wonderful. Pete Alonso is not the most healthy right now, so why not take that shot and see if he can be valuable for you. So I say go out there, add Blake Walson if you're desperate or in a deep league and you need to get something down in the shallower leagues, like I don't know, 10-man, 8-man. I don't know if I'm really telling you to go look at him, but you know, 12-man, maybe 14-man, 16-man, 15-man. Yeah, go out there, add Blake Walton. Take the shot. The matchup isn't atrocious. You know, if you could suppress your ERA or even just maintain it and get you a couple more Ks to get you over the finish line, you know, especially in those roto leagues, every K counts as long as you're not on innings limits for the year. I think he's a solid ad. Go out there, add Blake Walton. And guys, before I move on, we start talking other names and things like that. I could give you a little preview. I got 2 more pitchers. I got Manaea and Ben Brown. And then I got an awesome prospect and a bat from Seattle that I think has been smashing recently that I think we need to start streaming for the next couple days. For that, I do got a great sponsor for you. It's winner takes all time in NBA and NHL. And FanDuel is giving you a shot to bring home the big win. Right now, new customers get $150 in bonus bets guaranteed with any winning $5 bet. So bet on money lines, point spreads, player props, um, bet against your rivals, bet for, total run scores. You could do so much with it. You know, Playoffs get fun. You want to make the game a little bit more interesting. Your team may not be in there. Go do a same game live parlay. See if you can get one for the first half, the first quarter, the second quarter, whatever. I promise you just want to win $5 and get 150 bucks, and you can have some fun all baseball season. So go out, and go visit fanduel.com/locked on and make every playoff shot count. FanDuel, America's #1 sports book. Are you watching Fox Sports or ESPN on your TV all day? Have you had to turn down the volume with all that shouting? Make the switch to Locked On Sports today, a free 24/7 streaming channel programmed for you every day to bring you the biggest stories without all this screaming. Locked On Sports today brings you can't miss analysis, opinions, and news, streaming 24/7 on YouTube or free Amazon Fire TV channel app. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day, 7 Eastern, streaming live on Locked On Sports Today 24/7 streaming channel on YouTube or the free Amazon Fire TV channel app. Also, guys, introducing the Locked On Fantasy Baseball Podcast Diamond Club on Subtext, the ultimate fantasy baseball companion. This season, rely on our dynamic content. Get real-time alerts right to your phone with waiver wire rankings, instant call-up notifications, injury reactions, and a whole lot more. Stay out of those fantasy leagues by joining the Diamond Club on Subtext, where your path to victory begins. Subscribe now. Elevate that fantasy baseball experience to new levels. Plus, by joining, you get a free 2 weeks free. So new members got to check it out. If you haven't done it, why not? You know, don't you have questions regarding, who do we think is better in terms of the waiver wire show today? Don't you want to find out? Go ahead, join. I will hook you up. Not only do I get to rank them for you, but if you have a question on them, you can come and ask us. And I got you, bro. Don't worry about it. We'll get you the answers you need and who's going to fit the solution right. So check us out. All right. Let's get back into baseball. Enough with the self-promoting and things like that. Let's have some fun here. I got another pitcher for you. Like I said right before the break, we got Sean Manaea. Sean Manaea, man, I think it's a good matchup. Corbin Carroll hasn't really been going. That team has been decent. They've been winning games. But I think Manaea has been good enough to say, hey, I'm willing to roll him out. He's 30% owned, and he's looked pretty sharp over the last 2 weeks. 10 innings pitched, win, 10 Ks, a 3.6 ERA, a 1.20 whip. And these are going up against San Francisco and Miami, obviously a little bit lighter of the matchups. But again, I don't think Arizona's, blowing teams away where I'm super scared to roll him out. Manaea does look good as a whole this season, too. His fastball looks great. Obviously, his breaking ball and off-speed pitches have been a little bit flat. He's given up a little bit of power, but, that could come down and swing in any which way. Not getting the strikeouts, not giving a lot of, ground balls. But again, he's more of a stream. That's why he is 30% owned. I'm not saying, pause the podcast, anything like that. But Sean Manaea, I think, is a good stream this weekend. Adam, he's available just to get over the hump. Gallen, you didn't get anything from him tonight. You might as well see if you can go and make up with that since you lost the start and add Sean Manaea. All right, let's talk about a little bit stronger candidate, in my opinion, but also, too, I think short shelf life, so don't think he has too much of potential here in terms of longevity, and that's Ben Brown. Ben Brown here. Ben Brown has looked good on the season since he's gotten a starting role. He started about 6 games, seen about 13 games, 46 innings pitched. He has 55 strikeouts. He has an ERA of 2.72, a FIP of 2.42, and a WHIP of 1.058. Ben Brown is interesting because, normally you don't see guys, be as successful coming out of the bullpen, but he has been of late since he's gotten the opportunity. Went out against Atlanta, went 4 innings deep, had 6 Ks, no earned runs. Goes out against Milwaukee, 10 Ks through 7 innings, no earned runs, and a .29 whip. So right now, as a starter, he looks great. Then he gets the Cincinnati Reds, which obviously you want to be scared of like the Ellie De La Cruz, the Spencer Steers, and such. But you get past those two guys, and there's obviously threats, but Ben Brown I think can handle it, and I think that Ben Brown's going to be just fine in the start. Again, it is when is he going against the Reds? The second, so Sunday, and you know what? You're down. You feel like you need to catch up. You want some upside in the strikeouts. You want to possibly, have a great start at him, and it's a brilliant little thing. And Ben Brown, why not take the shot if your ERA is screwed or you're trying to get a little down? Maybe Ben Brown could suppress it a little bit and bring home the W. So add Ben Brown now. Let's see if we can, create and manufacture a win this weekend. And Ben Brown might do it for you. So add Ben Brown now. Let me take a sip here. All right, let's talk some bats. There's been plenty of injuries all year, and this guy has been the team management on this has been pissing me off. And it's because he comes up, he performs, then gets platooned because guys come back and then doesn't get a fair shot. But he's been good since when he had consistent playing time. That's Pete Crow-Armstrong. Pete Crow has been good, right? I'm not gonna say, oh, he's been lights out, etc. Because you look at his face value of his stats, and they're just not the greatest, right? But 4 runs, a bomb, 9 ribs, 5 stolen bases, batting 236. When he was getting everyday playing time, he was batting about 260, 265, and he was getting a lot of hits. He went on a string of going of a multi-hit, you know, games in a row, like not multi-hit, but multiple games where he got strung a couple hits in a row of games, etc. Whatever. So Pete Pete Crow looks like he belongs in the bigs. Upon his recall, the coach said he's going to have more of a defined role. They're going to try to move Bellinger into more of DH, and he's going to play center field right now. He's going to get moved around. He's going to get exposure. They're going to try and work him in the lineup. They need him, and honestly, the guy can create more and get the opportunities and possibly put the team in positions to win because he's so fast. He's able to go out there and get the extra inning to put himself in scoring position. Pete Crow has a little bit of power too. The kid is he has a lot of upside. I'm actually a big Pete Crow kid. If he would have broke camp this year, I would have been all over him, from the jump. He was actually one of my sleepers going in until, he officially didn't make the camp. But you look at his profile in the minors, for instance, right? Especially in 2023. He had 438 at bats. He had 98 runs. He had 26 doubles, 7 triples, 20 bombs, 82 ribs, 37 stolen bases, 46 walks to 129 strikeouts. He batted 283. He had an OBP of 365, a slug of 511, an OPS of 876. Those are great numbers. You give him honestly like another 100 at bats. I guarantee the kid has, 3 or 4 more home runs, and the stolen bases probably is about another 10. Like Pete Crow-Armstrong is fast, and he could seriously put you to the next level here with stolen bases just on that alone. So, go and add Pete Crow just if you don't have stolen bases or you're lacking in there. He might be able to fix you, especially if he can make it in the lineup every single day, which right now it seems like the manager is going to get that done. So Pete Crow-Armstrong, honestly, I think is a strong ad right now, just for stolen base categories, possibly a power plus. And I think the kid can do it and hit for average as well. Like, there is that level. Like we've seen it done in the minor league career. Even if he doesn't hit 283, maybe he hits 260. I could totally see that last year, I mean, this year in the minors, he had 255 in that short little stint. He had 5 home runs in that time too, 14 ribs, 10 stolen bases, and only 110 at bats. Like I think Pete Crow, since being sent down, just I think really said, okay, this is what they told me I need to do to get back up. Okay, I'm going to do it in the minors. I'm going to take advantage of the opportunity. I'm going to show them what I'm going to do. And then I'm going to make sure I don't leave the bigs this time. The Cubs, I'm not going anywhere. So I think Pete Crow is ready to go. He's hungry, he's young, and I think he's going to do big things this year. Don't, blow out of proportion. I don't think he's going to be like rookie of the year status, but I do think he's going to be valuable for fantasy this year. So add Pete Crow now, I promise you. And I don't even know if I set his ownership percentage. Let me get that for you guys too. So right now, Pete Crow is 5% owned. That needs to change immediately. Add Pete Crow-Armstrong today. All right, guys, we got one last ad break. I got Jesse Winker coming up. I got a name I haven't talked about in forever, and it gets my Yankee giddies going, even though he's on another team. And we got a rook, I guess a rookie-ish player And we got a guy that we've been talking about adding and dropping all season long. And we'll be back right after this. So stick around. You'll hear those names. And here we go. The instant confidence boost from getting a new outfit makes you really look good. That's what I get when with Stitch Fix. You can easily upgrade your wardrobe this year with professional stylists that can help you find out find new on-trend favorites that you will work for you. You just give your stylist your size, your style budget, and preference, and then you get things that you're recommended that honestly you don't really think you would like, and then you put it on, and it's like boom, this is what these guys do for a living. So you order the box gets sent to your house. There's no subscription required. They send 5 just for you pieces, plus an outfit recommendation and pro styling advice. I what works. I send back with the rest. The style that makes you feel good and as make you look good. How could you pass up on there? Just get pretty much a nice new swag, right? Get started today at stitchfix.com/MLB. Get $20 off your first Stitch Fix, and that's stitchfix.com/MLB for $20 off. Stitchfix.com/MLB. Must redeem this though in 7 days of sign up. All right, guys, we are on the last half. I'm gonna just take a little sip here. I promise this isn't haterade. We saved that for Worryometer show and trade for and away. But let's get through this. I got a bunch of good names that I think are going to help us stream and possibly, you know, help us out in certain categories and see if they're going to be valuable, right? So let's talk Jesse Winker. Jesse Winker here. Um, you know, Ups and downs. I like to play him when he's hot. I was a big Jesse Winker guy when he was, coming up. And obviously he just had one season and then pretty much fell off. But it is what it is. It's a hate-love relationship with him and I. 17% owned. These last 2 weeks have been pretty nice. 7 runs, 2 bombs, 5 ribs, 5 stolen bases, batting 278. The 5 stolen bases is surprising, but he has 9 on the season already. Um, you know, Even though you look at it, even this week, he's had 4 runs, 2 ribs, 4 stolen bases, batting 353. Obviously, week before it wasn't as impressive, but at the same time, still is pretty good, especially with the 2 home runs. I think Jesse Winker just needs to be added, right? He's on a lineup where he's having opportunities, where guys are getting on base in front of him, and he's taking advantage of it. I think Jesse Winker is somebody we just ride while he's hot, and then the second he gets cold, you drop him like he's hot, in the same instance without even blinking or thinking about it. You know, I love these kinds of guys, right? Guys that are hot in the moment. You could just take it and ride it and go, and then just say see you later, and you move on to the next one. Jesse Winker is a perfect guy for this coming weekend. Add him now while the kitchen's hot here. Let's move on. A guy that I haven't thought about. Honestly, didn't even think he was in the MLB right now, but this is nice. This is a treat for me. Let's put it this way, and that's Miguel Andahar. Okay, 4% owned, I might add. But here's the interesting part, right? Matt, like, he's had 15 at bats so far this season. Why are we talking about this kid? I'll tell you why. Came up and he hit a bomb. His 7 ribs, and he's batting 400. Okay, even if Andahar is just hot for the next 2 weeks, I'm riding that bus. I'm adding him. He's gonna have all the opportunity he can get on Oakland because Oakland sucks. And if Andujar performs, they're gonna keep him on the field, and he's gonna perform better than other guys. So why wouldn't he? Okay, with outfield eligibility, you got to take a look at it. Andujar has upside, right? When he was a Yankee, everybody was like, okay, set him free. Let's get him on the field, right? He's always just showed promise. He just never can really bring it home, whether it's staying healthy or something. But man, when he does play, he's electric. And I think we might see little stints of it. Either he's going to get hurt first or he's going to, just go into a downward spiral at some point, and then you're just going to have to drop him, which who cares? He costs $3.99. He's 4% owned right now. Just go and add him for even the weekend, hit you a bomb and get you a couple ribs and gets you some batting average. He's done his job. Drop him on Monday. Who cares? But if you're down in those categories, you might as well add Andahar. I promise you, the kid is electric, and I've seen him play quite a bit. So obviously, I haven't seen him in years, but I think that the kid can still provide some fantasy value, and we'll see where that journey takes us. I love this ad at not only as a Yankee fan and just and a Har fan, but I like just what he's doing in the short term, and let's see if he can continue it. And man, it may be fun for a couple weeks. We'll see. All right, let's talk Mason Wynn. 22% owned. Somebody that can steal bases, somebody that has been hitting well over the last 2 weeks. 6 runs, 2 bombs, 11 ribs, 3 stolen bases. Batting. Oh, I'm sorry. That's the whole month. I apologize. The last 2 weeks is 5 runs, 2 bombs, 10 ribs, batting 395. Last week he had 20 at bats and got 8 hits. He only had 4 ribs, but he was batting 400. So he didn't kill you last week, but he didn't really produce. But if you had him in even on off days and things like that, or even no player got to sat for that day, and he just slot him in. Mason Wynn came in clutch, didn't kill you, performed, maybe chipped you in one of the, out of the 4 days that last week. This last week, he chipped you in 4 ribs. Why not? He's got killing you in batting average. And my number one rule for waiver wires: batting average off the waiver wire makes them an ad. So just ride the wave. If Mason Wynn decides to go and repeat what he did last week, hell yeah, go for it. That's going to be great. But I don't know if that's actually going to happen. That's a pretty ridiculous week. 10 ribs. Okay. Batting 395. Okay. Yeah, it's not sustainable. But Mason Wynn, if he goes out, bats 250, gets you like 2 runs, maybe a bomb and another 4 ribs. I'm okay with that. And maybe a stolen base or two. Yeah. That's a contributor right there. That's a great pickup. At 22% owned, those deeper leagues, I'm totally looking at them. But shallow leagues, maybe not. 10-man, 8-man, no, please don't. But 12-man, yeah, I consider it. 14-man, yeah, I'm already adding him. And 15-man, 16-man, yeah, he's been on my team before we even talked about this. He's been on my team on Monday. So Mason Wynn just needs to get added immediately. Go for it. All right. Now, this one, we've talked about him on and off. He's hot, he's cold, he's hot, he's cold. When is he just going to keep it going and get the truthers all excited and hot and bothered for a long period of time? And that's Michael Busch. Michael Busch is at it again finally. This last week, 2 runs, a bomb, 3 ribs, batting 286. The month stats aren't bad except for the batting average. He has 13 runs, 2 bombs, 6 ribs, stolen base, batting 214. He did have a stint where he was just smoking the cover off the ball. He has 8 home runs on the year, through 2 months, and he's only gotten 2 in the last 2 weeks and over the last month. That's not like saying much. So the whole month of April essentially was really when it was showtime for him. Michael Busch is, I think, maybe starting to heat up again. And if he does, he can be the fantasy gold we were all praying for. Add Michael Busch now and just see where it takes you. I mean, he has positional flexibility at first and third. We're still waiting on Royce Lewis. He could definitely fill out that position. Waiting on Josh Young. These are guys that can. He's a guy that can fill it, and also to be even a great UT. Michael Busch just needs to be added. 43% owned. Do it. Do it now before the ownership explodes and he starts exploding with it. So Michael Busch must add. All right. I don't have any more names right now. We're at almost the end here. I have about a minute to talk. And, I just want to go over and say thank you to everybody who's been supporting the podcast. Please share us. Please, help us reach more people because we want to keep doing this. We love talking fantasy baseball, Dom and I. And we appreciate everything you guys do. We have the greatest fans on the planet. I will keep saying that. You guys are awesome. I love the commenting. I love hearing from you guys on the Diamond Club. Like everybody's been great. And I love the everydayers. I love you new listeners. Please stick around and share us wherever you can. I promise it's only going to get better from here. So with that being said, guys, please like, subscribe, comment, rate, review. And if you really do feel so dareful, please share us again. And that, guys, have a wonderful rest of your day, a great weekend. I'm heading to Maryland and I'm having a bunch of drinks. So I'll see you on Monday. Peace.